Hey there, y'all! My name is Grandma Mona, and me and my husband Paul are packing up our motorhome for a cross-country adventure! We're gonna need y'all young people to help pack our treasures for us, but try not to get too attached, or you'll be up to your ears in sentimental antiques.
You can even take home my prized accordion. I was first chair in our school band.
You were the only accordion player in the band, Paul.
Exactly.
In Another Man's Treasure, players will be playing cards from their hand to create collection patterns. The player who lays down the most cards and scores the fewest amount of points is the winner. Think of it like playing golf.
Good thing I taught those alligators how to bring back my clubs from the pond.
Oh, Paul. There are two ways to play the game. The classic gameplay and the progressive gameplay. Now let's start with the classic. To set up the game, set aside the reference and replacement cards and shuffle the deck. Give each player a reference card and score sheet. Just make sure your sheet is on the gameplay side you're playing. Deal 8 cards to each player. Place the deck in the middle of the table and flip the top card of the deck over to create a discard pile. The player to the left of the dealer gets to go first. And now it's time to pack up some treasures. On a player's turn, they will do the following. Draw a card from the draw pile or from the top of the discard pile. If able, play cards in the playing area. Discard 1 card. Throughout the game, players will be creating collection patterns in front of them to empty out their hand as fast as possible before the end of the round. Don't get caught taking home too many treasures. Collection patterns are made up of sets, suited runs, and suited pairs. Sets are made up of cards with the same number in a different variety of colors. Suited runs are cards in numerical order and of the same color or suit. Suited pairs are 2 cards of the same color and number. There are 5 precious collection patterns that a player can play in Another Man's Treasure. First, we have 2 sets of 4 cards. Remember, a set is made of the same number but can be different colors. Next up is 2 suited runs of 4 cards where the color has to be the same and the numbers run in numerical order.
I always liked that furry toilet. Warmest seat in the whole house.
Our third option is 1 set of 4 and 1 suited run of 4. For this collection pattern, you will need to have both, not just one of them. Next up, we got a big ol' pattern for you. This pattern is 1 suited run of 8 cards. This pattern needs all cards to be the same color, and all 8 cards must be in numerical order. Woo! That's a big one. Your final option is 4 suited pairs. Each of these pairs have to have the same number and same color. Ain't that a match made in heaven? Just like at Grandma's house, we got some rules when it comes to playing cards. Once you have the cards in hand to complete a collection pattern, you may play those cards in front of you. However, you may only choose to play one of the 5 types of collection patterns once each game, and only 1 pattern per round. Once you play a pattern, you're stuck with it. Once you've laid down your collection pattern, you may continue to play cards on your own pattern or another player's. This is a great way to get cards out of your hand. If you choose to continue to add on to any collection pattern, you may do so in the following ways. Players may add cards of the same number to sets. Add cards to the beginning or end of suited runs. Or add cards of matching color and number of pairs. Throughout the game, y'all are going to come across these groovy wild cards. Wild cards represent any color and can be used in place of any number that is marked in the corner. Now, on all y'all's turns, you can swap cards with other wild cards that have already been played. But you will need the exact card to replace it. The swapped wild must also be played on the same turn and cannot be kept in your hand for future use. Now, ain't that just wild?
Groovy, man.
At the end of a player's turn, when they discard a card and before the next player draws a card, any player can holler out,
"Can I have it?"
to claim the top card from the discard pile. The player who's next to play may say, "I want it," and if they do, they must pick up the card and place it in their hand. However, if the player says, "I don't want it," the opportunity passes to the next player in clockwise order. If any player takes the card out of turn, they must also draw an additional card from the top of the deck. If no one wanted the card between the next player and the player who said, "Can I have it?" the player who hollered for it must take that card and draw a card from the deck. One last rule, even though a player cannot pick up an extra card on their turn, they can still say, "Can I have it?" for a card they discarded. Once all of y'all plays or discards the last card in your hand, the round is over. Then each player will mark off one of the possible collection patterns on their score sheet. This eliminates the option to choose that pattern for future rounds.
Mona, what if some of us didn't get to play a collection pattern this round?
Well, that's all right, Paul, 'cause I got something for them too. If a player did not complete a collection pattern this round, they may check the chart below to see if they have one of these smaller collection patterns. This will help get some cards out of their hands. If they do have one of these patterns, they must mark off the corresponding pattern on their card. Again, these patterns cannot be used in later rounds. Once y'all have marked down which collection patterns you used, it's time to go to scoring. Players will add up all of their unplayed cards and records them on their own score sheet. Treasures are worth 5 points each. Wilds that are numbered 1 through 6 and 6 through 11 are 10 points each. And 1 through 11 wilds are worth 15 points. To start up a new round, the player to the left of the dealer gathers up all the cards, shuffles the deck, and deals out 8 new cards to each player. Something important for y'all to remember. As you start a new round, remember you cannot go for a collection pattern that you used in previous rounds. So play your cards carefully. The game ends after the 5th round. The player with the lowest score wins the game. In case of a tie, the player who completed the most collection patterns wins. If there is still a tie, the victory is shared.
Way to spread the love, honey.
If y'all are looking for a longer, more challenging game to play, then y'all might be interested in the progressive game. The progressive game is played in 9 rounds. In the first 3 rounds, only 6 cards will be dealt out to each player, and only 3 collection patterns can be used. Rounds 4 through 6 have 3 new collection patterns to choose from, and 8 cards will be dealt to each player. The last 3 rounds will have another 3 new collection patterns, and a total of 10 cards will be dealt to each player.
I don't know if I can remember all of that.
Well, sweetie, just flip over the back of your scorecard and follow along with the progressive gameplay patterns.
I knew I married a genius.
Oh, Paul. Throughout the progressive game, y'all are gonna find these cute little smiley face symbols on certain 5, 6, and 7 cards.
And my face was the inspiration for them.
The artist sure got your eyes right, my dear. If you play a card with a smiley on it in your collection pattern, you will receive negative 10 points off your end of game score. However, if you end the round with a smiley card in your hand, you add 10 points to your final score. Remember, y'all, the lowest score wins. When a player discards or plays the final card out of their hand, the round ends, and scores are tallied up just like in the classic game. The only difference is that players cannot play partial collection patterns. To help track your scores, rounds, and collection patterns, just use the progressive pattern sheet on the back of the classic game sheet. Well, y'all, that's our game. We hope that you and your loved ones have enjoyed going through our many treasures. Now get out there and invite your family over for some game night fun, especially your loved ones.
And even your son-in-law.
And remember, the memories you make at game night will always be ones you treasure.